Hello and welcome to my presentation by me, Ben Kibble-Smith, in which I will explore the extent to which the rise of UKIP represents the limitations of European integration. First of all, I'm going to talk about the entry requirements. To enter into the European Union, you must accept the Copenhagen criteria, which was agreed by the Copenhagen European Council in 1993. And it states that if you are to join, you must have a stable market economy, you must be a liberal democracy, and you must accept the acquis communautaire, whereby any previous treaties you must accept, such as the Lisbon Treaty. All of this together rounds out as the Copenhagen criteria. The basics of European integration is that it was formed in 1952 as the European Coal and Steel Community, and it was the basis of free trade between the six nations. Since then, it has grown and expanded since 1973 up until 2013 with the acceptance of Croatia many times, and accepted many new nations to create a supranational organization which is the European Union. The need for integration. Since the 2004 enlargement and the exception of the former Cold War sides such as Poland, Czech Republic and Latvia, who then dissolved from the USSR, they have now joined the European Union, which has seen an overall rise in European migration. The migrants have increasingly gone to many different countries, and most frequently the United Kingdom. And an example of this is the Polish population has increased from 50,000 to almost 500,000 since the 2004 enlargement. And what's happened because of this and the joining of these new nations is that there's a lot of hostility from the nation they've moved to. So, due to the lower wage workers and migrants who are in need of the jobs to send the money home from countries like I mentioned before, Czech Republic, Poland, and Latvia, who are often second world countries, they've affected the United Kingdom's lower working classes, such as the C2, the D, or the E's. And these social classes have struggled with the recent migration from all these new migrant countries since they've joined the EU. And one thing to say is that the new migrants are more willing and more harder working than British workers, people have said, and they're more willing to work for less money. And then previously, migrant workers, because Britain has had a former colonial past, have been from all around the world and done the jobs which British people would normally shun. But this has seen a change in that the actual manufacturing business and the practical business have seen these new migrants coming in. And then how people have reacted is that people are losing faith in their political parties. So the lower wage workers would normally associate themselves with the Labour Party, and they feel hard done by the Labour Party because of this lack of control over the migrant workers and the acceptance of the enlargement. So a lot of these people are turning towards parties such as the UKIP, and then they're seeing these anti-immigration policies and they're saying that they want a part of that and that they don't want to be completely walked over by migrants. They want their own jobs in their own country. So this is the first main limitation of European integration, the fact that most of the people within the country don't want the new workers to arrive. And what this creates is that there's a lot of hostility towards the workers, and then this can create segregation to the enlargement and all the integration of the European Union. And then this can create racial, ethnic, or religious hate crimes towards the migrants, but most importantly, the bias which the media present to the public is very convincing at times. So a lot of people believe what they're saying about the migrants and that they're here to steal jobs. So a lot of people have this mindset that the migrants are only here to steal jobs and send the money home and do work for less money. And this can create a backlash because the migrants might not want to turn up in Britain or any other countries to do the work, which some jobs and some British people wouldn't want to do because previously we haven't done. But also this creates a lack of multiculturalism within our country. If we're not accepting of other cultures, then we'll just have the homogeneous population here. The view across Europe is that the ever-growing enlargement of the European Union, migrants want to go to the key states, such as the Germans, They want to go to France, they want to go to Italy, Netherlands, United Kingdom. But previously, the United Kingdom, France, and Netherlands have dealt with previous waves of migration. And what's happened is there's been a rise in anti-immigration parties across the whole of the continent. So, for instance, the National Front in France in 2001, the coalition between the Northern League and the National Alliance in Italy, and the Danish People's Party in Denmark. And this has led to, within each of these countries, they feel that they want as little to do with Europe as possible, meaning that they might want out of Europe altogether, or they seek radical change of how Europe works, including the change of migration between nations. Either way, such hostility towards Europe and the growing support across the whole of Europe towards parties within this ideology represents a serious problem to European integration, one which it must tackle sooner rather than later before a country chooses to exercise its sovereignty and offers a referendum to the people to leave the Union, or if a radical party just comes in on its own accord and chooses to leave the European Union in a somewhat undemocratic way. Since the Union was formed in 1952, it's never faced a crisis where parties are so willing to leave, partly due to the decline of the euro and a global economic crisis, but political parties like the UKIP now want to put themselves first in an act to regain sovereignty over their borders and to stop migration of people through Europe. This is a challenge to protect from the European Union what Europe means most to its nations, and to keep all the states together, united against growing economic pressures from around the world, and to integrate further because these faraway economic challenges and in-union revolts of key European values such as migration and integration are causing mass problems, and these new parties are causing the integration to not happen because they don't want the integration. I'll now move on to my references, and I'd like to thank you for listening. Thank you.